Hi, welcome to Bella's Yoga Room. I'm Bella. Today we've got a no motivation yoga. So whether you've got low, whether you've got no, I'm so proud of you for showing up. We're going to start lying down. So find somewhere comfortable and let's get down on the ground. So just allowing whether you want the feet to be resting on the ground or if you want to have those legs out nice and long. Choose your own adventure here. So make those modifications, maybe just wiggle out the hips a little bit. Allow the feet to flip-flop one side, then the other. And then let's just, once we've made any other modifications you need to, just allow the body to be still. And if you've chosen this video because maybe everything else felt really hard or you didn't know what to do, but you wanted to do something, well done. You've shown up. So just allow the eyes to close now. Give yourself this time. Know that this is a wise way to use the precious time that you have. And with the eyes shut, just notice where the mind goes, whether you're stuck in thoughts of, oh, I can't be bothered, or oh, is this the right thing for me? What's that noise outside? That's okay. Whatever's showing up, allow it to be there. And then let's all try and focus on the movement of the breath. So we're going to be here for a couple minutes, just noticing that subtle movement. And so you might want to just focus on the air coming in and out of the nose. It's always something I struggle with. I find it easier to maybe have the hands on the body, just noticing that rise and fall of the belly or the chest. And if you do have your hands resting on the belly, let's take a couple deep breaths in together. Really expanding that tummy and then exhaling and letting go. A couple more like that. Breathing in and breathing out. Okay. Maybe opening the eyes if you feel ready. And let's just hug both of those knees up into the chest. Rocking from one side to the other. Let's do some circles. So hands on those knees. Pulling the knees in towards you and then allowing them to stretch out. And let's go the other way. And it's really hard when we're feeling like we have no motivation that we'll just start when we feel motivated. And I don't know, but how's that working for anybody? We're really good often at finding excuses, reasons why we shouldn't start today, but often that just keeps us stuck. Okay, so with those knees hugged in nicely, we'll get back to that. let's open those arms out nice and wide and then allow the knees just to fall over to the left side. So we're starting off with a twist. Getting into that. The back, side body. And let's come over to the other side. And you can look up here, or you can look over that left shoulder. Coming back to center. Let's cross that right ankle over the left knee. And either maybe just staying here, pushing, sort of thinking about pushing that right knee away, or you might want to grab through that little window of the legs and just bring that left leg in a bit closer, which is going to intensify that hip stretch there that you're getting. It's always about how do we get started? You know, the first moment of movement always feels strange, feels maybe a bit uncomfortable. But so far, I've pretty much never regretted moving my body, but sometimes I do regret not maybe doing the exercise that I told myself I would do. And that can be just something little, a little short walk, just some of the stretching, all of that's really good. Okay, so allow that left foot to come down. Allow that right leg to straighten. Maybe do some circles there. The ankle going the other way. And then maybe just interlacing the fingers behind that thigh. And again, having a bend here in that knee as much as you need to. Just feeling that stretch in the back of the leg here. And let's let that leg come down. And then crossing that left ankle over the right knee. And if you were here before, stay there. Or if you did want to grab that leg and get into that hip a little bit more, that's the option here. Nice big deep breaths. Notice as we hold these stretches, maybe you find a bit more space on those exhales. And that doesn't mean you necessarily have to bring the body in any closer. You can just notice that you're freeing up and creating a little pause there. All right, let's let that right knee come down. Allow that left leg to straighten out. And let's do some circles there. One way with the left foot and other way. Just checking in again. Nice big deep breath. Let something go. Interlace those fingers maybe behind the thigh, behind the calf. Just wherever you are today. Just feeling that nice stretch in the back of that left leg. And this can always be done with that bottom leg flat on the ground, but you don't have to. You can try it out. And then let's release that. Oof. Let's bring the soles of the feet now to touch. And opening out, allowing those knees to fall heavy to the sides. You might want to close the eyes here. And again, this is another just gentle hip opener. And you can always have those feet further away from the hips if that's feeling really intense. Last breaths here. And then bringing the hands to the outer edges of those legs. Hug those knees in again. And then let's just roll over to one side. We're going to come to all fours, to our cat-cow. So bring those hands underneath the shoulders, knees, under the hips, and then opening up the chest, looking up, and exhaling. Inhaling, looking up, and exhaling, arching and tucking that tummy in. And then coming just to a neutral spine. Gonna come to do a little bit of balance work here. So let's straighten out that right leg. Option to have that left arm as well. And we are going to bring that in as we exhale. Inhale nice and long. Exhale. Inhale nice and long. You can always drop the arm. This is activating, getting that core engaged. Couple more here. Well done. And let's just bring that down. Let's step that right leg up. So that right foot is now just above where that right hand was. And we're going to just come into a nice low lunge here. So maybe as you inhale, notice that coming up slightly and then sinking a little bit into that right hip. We're still engaged, even engaging the core here. And then let's straighten out that right leg. So tipping here at the hips, hands can be on the ground, and you can bend that right leg as much as you need. And then we're going to roll back into that hip. Low lunge. And then again into that hamstring. And one more time to those hips. And then that hamstring. And let's step that right knee back, coming back to our tabletop. And we're going to repeat on the second side. So left leg out nice and long, engaging that core. Maybe opposite arm, right hand's also reaching out. And then as you exhale, let's bring that in. And exhale as you're coming in. Maybe noticing a little bit of heat in that core. Really good to activate the body, create that warmth. And then left leg out, and then let's step that left foot up, and then coming into that low lunge there. Really thinking here about sort of rolling those shoulders back, opening up that chest. You might be looking up as well, but we really don't want to be hunching over. So we really want to be opening up, creating more space. And we're going to then rock back. So straightening out that left leg. couple breaths here. And then we're going to go back into that low lunge, then to the hamstring, that runner's lunge, and just a little flow here. Okay, let's step both knees back now. Going to bring the knees nice and wide, bring those big toes to touch, hands out in front, and then allowing those hips to rest back onto the heels, allowing the forehead to rest on the ground. And let's just walk that right hand and left hand a little bit off the mat. Getting into that right side body. And then walking all the way back over to the right side. Coming back to center. Maybe allowing those elbows just to rest here on the mat. And this is going to be our final pose today, in our extended child's pose. If you want to make any modifications, maybe you could always grab a blanket. We have that, sort of bring that underneath the head. Or you can hug a few pillows, that can be nice too. If you would like to come into Shavasana and rest on your back, that's also absolutely an option for you. Just noticing how you're feeling, how that movement has served the body. Maybe you feel just the same. We're never going into yoga with expectations to necessarily feel better, but we're trying to move the body, move the energy, move anything that's stuck. We're holding on to our brains can be so good at keeping hold or coming up with reasons why we shouldn't move, why we should stay where we are. And again, as humans, we always want to seek comfort, avoid pain. Sometimes we don't realize that staying stuck and not moving is actually creating more pain. And maybe just rocking the forehead gently from one side to the other. Just taking a couple of deep breaths here. Really getting into that back of the ribs there. And then slowly pushing up through those hands, bringing the knees a bit closer. Coming to find a seated position. Taking any little movements you need. Thank you so much for joining me in the practice today. I'd love to know how you found the practice and how you're going. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.